in white, and it's quite a coincidence that even the residents coming out there and waving white handkerchiefs. Of course, it would have been the same, but it's quite a coincidence that President Mwai Kibaki chose white. He's been talked about as a person who loved peace. So white and peace go hand in hand.
That's
and
right.
Just to say that the moment they will be about to arrive at Othaya, it's President Uhuru Kenyatta who actually will receive the body, just the same way it happened yesterday at Nyeri National Stadium. They left State House, and briefly and shortly actually before they reached Nyeri Stadium, President Uhuru Kenyatta also arrived to receive the body. So I'm told that our reporter Beatrice Gatonye is on standby just to give us an update on what is there. Beatrice, it's a busy morning there, and of course better part of the day. What do we know so far from that end of central Kenya? Beatrice.
Taniambia kama niko sawa. Asante kwa studioni. Hapa ni katika uwanja wa Approved School ambapo misa takatifu ya wafu itafanyiwa hapa ya mwenda zake Mwai Kibaki. Na kama tujuavyo msafara uko njiani, na muda mfupi tu atakuwa mwili wake utakuwa kiwasili hapa, na ninataka nikuonyeshe tu shughuli chache ambazo zinaendelea katika uwanja huu. Niko mmoja kati ya malango mengi yaliyoko katika uwanja huu, na huu ni mlango mmoja ambao unatumiwa na wananchi kuingia. Hapa wananchi wanakaguliwa. Kuna vitu ambavyo haviruhusiwi mtu yeyote kuingia navyo, kama vile kiberiti, ama maji, ama juice, ama vyakula vingine vyovyote. Na kama jinsi ambavyo unaona kulingana na picha ambazo unaonyeshwa hapa, ni kukaguliwa. Kila mmoja anafanyiwa ukaguzi kuhakikisha kwamba usalama umeimarishwa katika uwanja huu. Wananchi hawa wanapoingia katika uwanja huu wanakutana na maafisa wa NYS ambao wamewasubiri hapa, wanapatiwa maji, wengine pia wanapewa, na kisha baada ya kupatiwa maji unapatiwa mkate, alafu kisha pale mbele kuna soda za kila aina. Ile soda ambayo wewe unaipendelea unaichukua hapo, na kisha unaelekezwa mahali ambapo unastahili kuketi, na unasaidiwa na maafisa wa NYS pamoja na maafisa wengine wa polisi ambao wako katika eneo hili. Kando na hayo, mtazamaji, tayari wananchi wameanza kuketi, na kama tujuavyo Rais Mwai Kibaki hayati sasa alikuwa anapendelewa sana hapa kama mbunge, kwani alihudumu tangu mwaka 1974 hadi mwaka 2013 kama mbunge wa eneo bunge la Othaya. Hivyo basi wakazi ambao wanamiminika katika uwanja huu wana hadhi kubwa sana na wanamheshimu sana mwenda zake, kwani ni kiongozi ambaye amewahudumia kwa muda mrefu, na ni mengi ambayo yamesemwa kuhusiana na kiongozi huyo. Na ningependa nikuelekeze upande huu mwingine. Baada ya wananchi kuingia, pia wanapata fursa ya kutazama picha ambazo zinaonyesha safari ya rais mwenda zake hayati Mwai Kibaki. Hizi ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha yeye kama mtu wa familia, yeye pamoja na mke wake Lucy hapo pamoja na wajukuu akiwasomea vitabu. Hizo ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha Kibaki kama mtu wa familia. Kando na hayo, pia kuna picha nyingine ambazo zinamuonyesha kama mtu wa kitaifa. Alihudumu katika nyanja mbalimbali katika serikalini hapo, akiwa pamoja na hayati mzee Jomo Kenyatta, na yeye kama anahudumu pia kama katika nyadhifa mbalimbali alizokuwa amepewa kama kwenye serikali. Picha inayofuata ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha rais hayati Mwai Kibaki kama mbunge. Kama jinsi ambavyo nimekuambia, alihudumu kama mbunge wa eneo hili kwa takriban miongo minne, na picha hizi zinaonyesha safari yake yeye kama mbunge wa eneo hili. Kando na hayo, tuna picha ambazo pia zinamuonyesha ama zinaashiria wakati wake alipohudumu kama waziri wa fedha, na amesifiwa sana kama waziri ambaye alifufua uchumi wa nchi hii, waziri ambaye alijitolea kuhakikisha kwamba uchumi wa nchi umeinuka. Kando na hayo, pia kuna picha ambazo zinaonyesha hayati Mwai Kibaki kama makamu wa rais ambaye alikuwa makamu wa rais wake hayati Daniel Arap Moi. Hapo hizo ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha wakati wake yeye pamoja na hayati rais wa pili wa Jamhuri ya Kenya Daniel Arap Moi. Picha pia ambazo zinafuata ni picha ambazo zinaonyesha kuhusiana naye kama kiongozi wa upinzani hapo wakiwa na John King wakati ambapo walianzisha chama cha DP. Hapo hizo ni picha ambazo pia zinaashiria hayati Mwai Kibaki kama kiongozi wa upinzani. Picha inayofuata inaonyesha nyakati mbalimbali alizohudumu kama rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Amesifiwa kama kiongozi ambaye alijitolea kuwasaidia Wakenya kuinua uchumi, kutengeneza barabara, kama jinsi ambavyo hapo tunasikia studioni wachanganuzi wakizungumza zaidi kuhusiana na jinsi walivyotengeneza barabara, walivyounda barabara nyingi. Amesifiwa kama rais ambaye bila shaka alileta mabadiliko makubwa hapa nchini Kenya. Hatutaweza kuzungumza kuhusu safari ya hayati Mwai Kibaki bila kuzungumzia kuzinduliwa kwa katiba mpya mwaka 2010. Hii ni safari ambayo alihakikisha kwamba ameifanya na nchi hii ikaweza kupokea katiba mpya ambayo imesifiwa sana kama mojawapo wa katiba ambazo ni nzuri sana kote duniani. Hapa ni katika uwanja wa Approved School, mtazamaji, ambapo mwili wa hayati Mwai Kibaki utakuwa ukiwasili muda mfupi kutoka sasa, ambapo viongozi wa serikali pamoja na wananchi wa hapa Othaya na kote nchini Kenya tayari wanaendelea kumiminika katika uwanja huu ili kumpa heshima za mwisho na pia kumsindikiza kiongozi huyu ambaye bila shaka amesifiwa kote ulimwenguni na wengi wamemwomboleza kama kiongozi aliyejitolea kuhakikisha kwamba taifa hili linainuka kiuchumi, kimaendeleo na mengine mengi. Na watu wa eneo hili tayari wamefika hapa kwa wingi kwa sababu wanajivunia kiongozi huyu ambaye wamemtambua kwa ukaribu sana, kando na wengine wetu kama Wakenya ambao tunamjua kama rais, na kwa kweli aliweza kufanya mengi. Lakini kwa wananchi wa Othaya ambapo atazikwa hivi leo, wanajivunia sana kiongozi huyu na wanamchukulia kuwa mtu wao wa karibu sana. Ndio sababu hivi leo, kando na kibaridi kingi hapa Othaya, wengi wamejitokeza, wadogo kwa wakubwa, wazee kwa vijana, wamama, wasichana, wamefika hapa kuhakikisha kwamba wanampa heshima za mwisho anazostahili kiongozi huyu, rais wa tatu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Hivyo basi tuko hapa katika uwanja wa Approved School ambapo tutakuwa tukikuletea taarifa nyingi kuhusiana na yale ambayo yatakuwa yakifanyika hapa, huku mwili wake ukitarajiwa kufika hapa. Tayari umefika katika eneo la Karatina na utakuwa ukiwasili hapa muda mfupi kutoka sasa. Na kurejesha studioni Obran Kemani pamoja na Victor Olo, uwanjani wenyu.
Thank you so much, Beatrice Gatonya there. That's a comprehensive update on what is happening down there in Othaya with the pictorial evidence of life and times of President Mwai Kibaki. And now, as you can see, guests have already taken their seats, and of course, as per the information, is that that dome is going to carry 15,000 people, and the rest will be beamed live on different screens that will be stationed out at that dome. And of course, security is also paramount, which she said that is taken care of adequately. So particular items are not allowed into that particular area. Things with matchstick, water and what have you, just for security purposes, those are the things that will not be allowed. They are a few minutes away from home, and of course it's now 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. We predicted that probably plus or minus, and of course is 3 minutes past the hour. We've seen 2 stops so far, and we can attribute that spillover the hour because of those stops. And of course the road is still under construction, so yes, it can pass that way. But then President Uhuru Kenyatta will be the person to receive the body, meaning President Uhuru Kenyatta at this particular point should be en route to Othaya. A 19-gun salute will be given in honor of the late President Mwai Kibaki. And of course we are also informed that a few meters to the home, the gun carriage will be there. Yet to confirm how that will take place. And of course, the casket is draped in a national flag, but at the burial site or the graveside, that flag will be handed over to the family of the late President Mwai Kibaki. Dignitaries are already in the country. So far, we have got 3 presidents: Salva Kiir Mayardit of South Sudan, who attributed the kind of freedom they have right now to President Mwai Kibaki. He even said through the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, that is Martin Elia Lomuro, who spoke on behalf of Salva Kiir, who said that President Mwai Kibaki even took some of the government officials from South Sudan to Mombasa, to Kenya Government of School for training. And that is why they are so grateful to President Mwai Kibaki. The negotiation was done here in Kenya, and the peace accord was also done here in Kenya. Prof, it's when you talk of peace, when you talk of international relations with other nations, we can never talk much about President Mwai Kibaki. South Sudan is enjoying peace right now, and if you look at the flag, it's more or less the same as Kenya's flag.
That's correct.
Right.
I think you're absolutely right. Peace and development for us in Kenya always went together. And I think what President Kibaki did was to continue on the foundations built at independence by the first president and the second president, as far as the Sudanese peacemaking efforts are concerned. I think President Kibaki's introduction and innovation here was something he called economic diplomacy.
Yes.
And business diplomacy, going alongside peacemaking and development. If you look at our embassies everywhere, there was a renewed emphasis on business and bringing in investment and getting our exports out there. And part of the training, you just mentioned the importance of training here, Kenya School of Government, but also Foreign Service Institute at our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, began getting a tweak towards emphasizing those issues. He was very conscious of them. He met the ambassadors. He wanted to know from each one of them, they meet I think once every 2 years, what exactly have they done to promote economic. But you're right, peace in our region. If you look at what happened in Somalia, our armed forces intervened when our tourist resorts in the coast came under attack.
Yes.
We didn't attack first, they attacked. We had to respond, and we did. As far as Somalia is concerned, we continued a very good cooperation as far as security in the region concerned with Ethiopia.
He was also so passionate about foreign policy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And foreign policy, because he realized very well that we needed excellent relations with other countries in the world. Let me tell you, a lot of people talk about looking east policy under Kibaki. I think that is not quite accurate.
Yes.
What he was doing was saying we are going to consolidate our relationship with the traditional partners in the West and in Africa, to start with in Africa and to start with in East Africa, but we are also going to add onto that relationship, onto our baggage of relationship with these new emerging countries in Asia. So what you do see, despite all this look-east policy, is that we have continued our relationship with Western countries, with America, with Britain, with France, with Germany. In fact, they've grown quite tremendously over that period. At the same time, we've added, in his tenure, our relationship with Asia, particularly East Asia and Southeast Asia.
Prof, again, before I let you go, if you look at his approach in terms of how he would handle issues, he would mediate through ministries, through envoys, through different departments, not as a person. He would delegate duties. How do you attribute this to his personality and in terms of how he would run his government?
I think from the very beginning, and I think the minister here will attest, he said, I will delegate, but I will delegate to the most efficient.
The minister
That's the word. I will delegate to the most efficient people I have.
You are letting these
Ministers,
go down
permanent secretaries, directors, managers, policy makers, advisors. Get the best, delegate to them, sit back and wait for the report. But you had better make sure when you went with your report to President Kibaki that it was up to snuff. It was up to the standards of his. Otherwise, privately, you get a lashing.
Waziri, give me a picture when you went to report to the president. Okay, he was your boss, Mzee. This is what I've done. This is the far I've reached, and this is the next step. How would you react?
Professor,
in a cabinet meeting?
Professor is very right. You know, Kibaki, you don't go to see Kibaki to tell him anything.
Yes.
As long as you are working, he will leave you alone. He does not want you to go reporting to him. You are going to tell him what? Can you tell Kibaki, you go and tell Kibaki,
give me the results.
I have started on this road. Yes, no. He's there. He knows exactly what is happening everywhere. Right. So if you make a mistake, that's the time maybe you call you. And if you find Kibaki telling you to go and see him, it is either you have done something that is not right, or there is something that he wants you to initiate. Otherwise, Kibaki will not bother you. For example, in the pocket of roads and infrastructure,
yes,
we would meet. He will not, just like when you find that he wants to meet you before he goes to the construction site to launch a road. No, he knows everything will be okay. So you go. The belief is there. He looks at the belief when you are there. And he was very fast at looking at issues. Very fast.
The pointers.
Very fast.
Yes.
And he knew every time we were going outside, when he's meeting readers, number one issue was roads and water. So, but the priority was always roads. Roads were in bad condition. So he would be able to address those issues.
Right.
The other good thing that he gave us ministers comfort is that he did not want to write to the people, to the wananchi. So once he gets the briefing that this road maybe it's at this stage, design, we are going to tender maybe very soon. It is being looked into so that he knows what to tell the readers.
Yes.
If for example, we are launching a road and other roads have come up, and I give him the brief that this road is maybe being designed, because we look at the road before going to a certain area, he would make us very comfortable and say, mnajua serikali inafanya kazi na budget. Na hii budget inapitishwa na bunge. Hiyo ndio tunafuata. Kama hii barabara haiko kwa budget mwaka huu, hamwezi jengewa hii barabara.
Yes. So you have to plan it.
Sasa tutaiweka kwa budget mwaka ujao. He will never tell that wananchi that itatengenezwa leo, itatengenezwa mwaka huu. So they gave us a lot of comfort that President has said it is not in the budget. So even answering parliamentary questions for me, it would be very easy for me to say the president was there and he said we are going to look into it the next financial year. But he would be able to tell the people the truth, and that gave us a lot of comfort.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right.
And also, if when you are giving the belief, and this is something that we learned to be thinking on our feet. You don't know what he's going to ask. For example, you are explaining about the road, and there is the drawing and the map of the road. So you look at it and say, anaona hapa inapitia hapa. Sinaona hapa kuna town nyingine pale. Sasa kwa nini hii barabara isiingie huko? Wale watu watasema nini? How many kilometers is it from here to there? So you have to have all the facts right. Yeah?
Right.
And you have to have the figures. Tukiingiza hapa, kwani itakuwa tutaongeza pesa ngapi? So that he now knows, he says now tutaipeleka kwa hii shopping center, then you have to do it. But you have to be very careful to tell him the actual cost. So that it can be accommodated. If it cannot be accommodated,
yes,
then he will not talk about it. He will not talk about it. He will let it be there. But he wants to know when he goes to tell the wananchi, does he commit himself?
That really confirms what President Kenyatta said yesterday, that as a leader, you must be able to lead yourself first.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. O'Brien, take it away.
We also wanted to update the people that, they have taken a detour, yeah? I think they have used the Othaya route. Probably maybe because the other road was taking a bit of time because it is still under construction. And I think the cottage was having a bit of problem here. And As we have just seen there, the cortege has just passed the Othaya Boys High School, yeah?
Othaya?
Othaya Boys.
Oh, it's in Othaya already?
So I'm Othaya.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that tells you that they're not far off
from
you know, the Othaya approved school. So this is, you know, I think the route is shorter, or what? I mean, I'm not very familiar with the terrains of
Mokoroni is shorter.
It is shorter.
Yeah.
So also because probably maybe they were running behind schedule. You know, time. You know, when you look at time, and this is something that they would want to not to get late, because we are in the rainy season, and of course the weather has been kind to them, but at least it hasn't rained this morning, but it looks like it was raining the whole night.
Yeah, but the weather is holding well so far. Yes.
Yeah, and some of the people that you know, we've seen at the Othaya approved school, what is actually now on your screen, we have seen a couple of people there, you know, education CS, Professor George Magoha. We have also seen NAC Kenya leader Martha Karua. We have also seen National Treasury CS Ukuri Yatani, among other people who have graced this occasion. President Uhuru Kenyatta has not yet landed here, but he's expected to land before the arrival of the cortege. So those are some of the issues that you know, we are monitoring from here. We are still in the good company of two men who served under the late President Mwai Kibaki, that is Professor Michael Chege, who was an economic as well as associate advisor to the President, and Engineer Joshua Toro, who was a former assistant minister for roads, public works, as well as housing. We continue with this conversation here on what they learned, or they have learned from the departed president, and of course what legacy the late president has left that they are going to miss. I want to find out from you, Professor Chege, why was President Mwai Kibaki so keen on infrastructure development?
Just like the minister here said, he realized two things. His own experience of Kenya's economy between 1963 at independence and 1978, the role played by infrastructure in opening up what were then called African areas of the economy, particularly agriculture, and the fact that there had been a decline between 78, particularly 1980s, coming the 1990s. That rehabilitation of infrastructure got priority, because if you open up infrastructure, you open up a lot of possibilities, because with communications, you give people who grow crops, you know, in the land. Same thing with transportation itself. It's a wealth creator. It's also an income generator, plus the service sector. Infrastructure went hand by hand. Yes, as the minister is saying, a lot of it was roads, but also electricity and access to energy. I remember him saying, connect power to every shopping center. Look at what happened when shopping centers in Kenya were connected to power. Small, medium enterprises that use electricity, including handsets for users of telephones like yourselves. And the industries associated with that, M-Pesa and all of that, which has made Kenya famous. All of this ride at the back of infrastructure, and I think that is why he wanted it. He generated growth and gave people hope. You just mentioned Thika Superhighway. Look at what the situation was there before and after. It's not just the highway. It is connected construction, building, habitation between Thika and Nairobi, to the extent that you're talking about one continuum of urbanization, which we need to look into, by the way. That it must be planned, better planned, because, and by saying better planned, it means more infrastructure, because we need better roads, you need sanitation, you need water, and also you need public places and schools and hospitals and all of that. Yeah. And
it's proper to say that yes, indeed, you know, infrastructure development, you know, has a spurring effect on development of local villages, and that is quite apparent, you know, because when you use some of the bypasses you know, that you know, the late president, you know, constructed like the Western bypass, the Eastern bypass, the Southern bypass. I mean, you've realized the significant development in terms of real estate. You know, you see towns that were never there. You see new estates that were never there before, and so that trigger effect is definitely good for economic growth. And of course, as you are saying, I mean, it also now requires, you know, the country to put in place proper urban planning mechanisms in place, and this is where, you know, the people like now Engineer Toro, you know, will help us. And as on the screen is the nephews of the departed president, you know, making way into the venue. That is Laikipia Governor Nderito Mureithi, who was also an assistant minister for trade during Kibaki's tenure. He's also an economist, right? Yeah. And you know, an astute one. And he used to work for the International Finance Corporation, which is the lending arm of the World Bank. So also made his way there. So you know, there are also various people who are here, and if you can allow me, I can actually go through some of them. Some of even the you know, retired military generals, you know, including chiefs of generals staff. They are in attendance, you know, to honor their fallen bosses. So that is what exactly is happening there. We're expecting the arrival of President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is expected.
Actually, Brian, I'm told that they've arrived.
Oh, the president has arrived?
The president has arrived, has landed at Othaya Boys High School, as well as DP Ruto and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. All of them are in Othaya Boys High School. Probably that's where they'll pick up from that particular point, and a clear indication that they're almost getting home. Not so well conversant with the area though, but it's now 10:21, so we would predict that not so long from now they should be there. So the president has arrived at Othaya Boys School, together with the DP Ruto also there, and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. So yes, as we said, he is the man to receive the former head of state at that particular event. We'll get the pictures.
Actually, I'm being told that they're just going through Mokoreni town, eh?
That's Mokoreni.
Yeah, that's Mokoreni town. Yeah. So I don't know, what's the distance from Mokoreni to the approved school?
It's not
Engineer?
Far. It's not far.
It's
Could
like
be 10 kilometers.
10 kilometers.
It's not far.
It's not far.
It's not far. All right. So it's proper to imagine that in the next 15-20 minutes they should be there.
You know, Mokoreni and Othaya, they are just next to one another. They are smaller constituencies, so they are just next to one another. Yeah. So from Mokoreni, the next town is Othaya.
From Mokoreni.
The next town is Othaya.
The next town is Othaya town. Eh? And how far is the approved school from Othaya town?
That one I have no idea.
I
have not been to approved school, but at the